is Gabriel, and I sing and play guitar for By the Time. Let's see, well, music growing up for me, it was pretty much everywhere. I have uh, pretty just like ingrained memories of just being in the car with my parents and just listening to music that they had. And my dad listened to like early mid 2000s emo and alternative and country, and my mom listened to alternative and emo and maybe a little heavier stuff. And my grandmother was a country singer songwriter, so a lot of different influences. There was also rap in there. Ludacris was in there a lot. We went to concerts at very early ages too. Pretty much all of my adult figures in my life were involved with music in some way or form. Let's see, my favorite bands or groups, probably obviously Deftones. I've got them tatted on me, and I'm wearing their shirt right now. So I really like the atmosphere they create. They sound like they really spend time releasing new music. I admire how all their albums are very well produced and very well made with intention. Another one would be Knocked Loose. I was reading something about one of their interviews with their second album, A Different Shade of Blue. They were talking about quality and how every time they try and make a song, they try and make it to the highest degree of quality, and just striving for that top level of quality and perfection is just something I want to apply when I make music as well. So I like vinyls and I like collecting them just because it's a physical representation of the music I like. And most of the time I just like the artwork / the artist. I usually only get an album for myself or a vinyl for myself if I have listened to the album all the way through and have been able to appreciate the album. Stand Up and Scream by Asking Alexandria, it's probably my favorite album of all time. Just really well put together. Also, same with Koinonia Con by Deftones, which is also something that I really appreciate the work on. Yeah, when I say appreciate an album, a lot of ingredients that go into an album just besides the music. It's a lot like cooking. There's plenty of dishes that people don't like. Let's take like escargot, for example. You're eating snails, it's unfamiliar, it's a weird texture, and it's from, a different place than most people are from. But plenty of people also like escargot because it's just where they're from and that's how they grew up. You could say escargot is like an extreme food. You could say that same principle to like extreme genres or whatever is extreme to your perspective. So there's plenty of music from the Vietnam War era. I don't like listening to that, but a lot of people back then needed music to comfort them or guide them through the Vietnam War because they were in a war. You can understand why other people would like it even if you don't. When it comes to all genres of music and my opinions on them, at the end of the day, music is subjective anyways. Music does well in any genre because it's good to who listens to it. So there's not some outright genre I hate. I have most genres in my playlist anyways. Almost every genre I have in my playlist. So I don't really exclusively listen to any genre over another. But I will say I've never been able to get into K-pop. It's just a different type of energy I can't get on board with. But I can kind of see how some people like it. My mom always played guitar and piano. I still play some of my mom's guitars. Same with my grandmother, she also played. I remember I got my first acoustic guitar when I was 9. And I didn't play a whole lot until about high school. There's something about playing the music versus listening where like it's something that you enjoy listening to and then you're creating that thing you enjoy listening to. It's like cooking your own meal instead of just ordering it. Yeah, so when it comes to ensuring quality in musical work, one is intentionality and effort, and this can be applied to anything, not just music. Just having a meaning behind the song or a reason to make the song. Like I'm not just gonna go on ChatGPT and say, "Hey, write these song lyrics for me," because that's not intention. That's not quality to me. How I see quality is I have a reason to make this song, and the whole purpose of making the song is making the song and the process of it, not just the end goal. if I were to just have somebody else do it for me, then the song wouldn't be mine because I just have the finished product. I didn't make the product. Process of making a song is more important than just having the song. When you just have the end product, it's hard to refine it because you don't know what went into it. When you know what goes into it, then you can change every aspect of the song and truly make it something you enjoy. When it comes to covers, I generally want to match the exact like feeling of the song. One of the rules we've had for picking songs to cover for those upcoming shows, it has to be something we all like, because if it's not something we enjoy listening to, we're not going to give 100% in it. Especially for me, the songs that I've picked to cover are some of my favorite songs ever. You know, at the end of the day, I could just throw in like Sweet Caroline or something, just something to crowd please and something that I know would get, you know, a good reaction from the crowd. But I wouldn't feel satisfied with that because I don't like Sweet Caroline. I sing and practice a lot, at least 10 hours a week. I practice singing. Singing is hard. It's very hard to do well and to do consistently. And then, you know, if I'm rehearsing with my band members, you know, my guitar's thrown into there, so that's probably another 10 hours a week. I practice probably about 20 to 30 hours a week off of singing and guitar combined. Outside of music, I really like just art in general. One of my favorite artists is Mark Rothko. He makes these really big and grand paintings. I saw some of his paintings about a year ago in Washington, D.C. A lot of people look at his art and it's just a couple blocks of color on a canvas, and most people are like, oh, well, anybody could do that. And yes, anybody could. If you were just walking down your neighborhood, you saw just this big 3-story brick rectangle. Yes, anybody could build that. That's probably the easiest house that's ever been built. But it would be very strange and almost enticing of why there's just this big brick monolith. And so that's a way to look at Rothko's painting. And when you go and see his art, it's just a whole nother effect. It's like you're looking into a portal of nothing, essentially. I also really like to cook just multiple different dishes from every culture on earth. That's probably why music is also a big outlet for me. It's just another creative outlet like art and cooking is. Well, my thoughts on the current music industry, you know, music is always going to change. Everybody has to adapt to that regardless. However, it does seem music is being made more marketable, especially with the rise of algorithms. There are certainly pros and cons of the modern music industry. The main pro is that anybody can make music. You know, the internet, anybody can learn. And, you know, it's easier than ever to get your music out there. You know, 50 years ago, it was, you know, mainly just word of mouth. But then it's flat. You know, I don't like escargot, but I can see why other people would. Yeah, he's alright. Ludacris is alright.